What's up, everybody? You're watching Pooped. That is right here. People's opinion on popular topics.
So what's your name?
Spencer Boats.
Spencer, and this is your own truck?
Yeah, I make the payments anyway.
What year is it?
03.
03?
Yeah.
Wow, I love the wood.
Yeah, it's pretty classic looking. It's a Canadian class, I guess, if you know trucks.
Well, it has class, I'll tell you that. I thought fake wood went out back in the 80s.
No, the old truckers are classic people. They like hanging on to old shit, I guess.
So you have quite the front row seat here to all the action, quite the parking spot.
Yeah, I'm Kent and Wellington, so I'm in the middle of her.
So tell me what's the police activity been like, and how has it changed since the start?
Yeah, so at the very start it was less, and then they kind of ramped it up over 2 weeks. Like normally there's like 4 cruisers sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
Last couple days there's only been 1 or 2, so I think they're moving. I don't think any cops have really left. I think they just have relocated their resources a little bit. About midway through, we've seen a lot less Ottawa police and a lot more RCMP. Like it was an overnight switch. I think that was around when they had those rumors of Ottawa police quitting. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but that was a big change in the middle.
There was a big issue with gas cans and local residents and even the truckers themselves getting gas for their own vehicles. And the police were apparently confiscating.
Yeah, they did. They took some at 302 Coventry, which is one of our main places where we gathered all our resources, I guess, but they gave them back the next day. It was more of a photo shoot than anything, and then the people just responded by bringing empty jerry cans, bringing more jerry cans of fuel. Like I had lots of fuel after that come right up to my truck with cruisers watching, and they didn't really want trouble, right? They're really trying to avoid conflict, especially when you have numbers like that, when you have, 100 people walking down the street with jerry cans full of diesel. They're not gonna really go after that, right?
Just as I was walking up, it looked like they were moving a truck out.
Yeah, one guy, they must have scared him into leaving. They're pretty serious, so there's been lots of false flags, tons and tons and tons of scare tactics.
Can you tell us a few of them, please?
Yeah, so, they put the state or the province of Ontario into emergency state, apparently. And remember, this is all what I hear, so I can't confirm any of it. They put the city in emergency state. They apparently code oranged a hospital somewhere around here for mass casualties. They brought a bunch of SWAT and all that in, right, and very publicly, like in vans and stuff like that, so very intimidating. They did all that stuff. They brought in interesting vans, like full of cops and stuff like that as well. They had the fire truck running around with the lights and shit on. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but there's just been all sorts of scare tactics, and it's always like, oh, this is the night, we're all gonna get arrested, you know what I mean? So we've heard that 10 times, so if anyone's still here, they're obviously willing to get arrested, I guess, because it wouldn't really reflect poorly on me or him. All we've done here is hang out with the locals, hang out with freedom-loving people, take pictures and have chats with them. So if they decide to arrest, that's going to be a huge mistake on their part. If the general population stands up against that, they'll have more than the right to do so.
Do you mind if I film
Go ahead.
back there? I'm just going to do a bit quick and then ask you about it.
You ever been?
It's not too bad. So, this is where you've been living since the start of it?
Yeah. Yeah, mostly. I got a hotel a couple nights. We've had access to hotels lots and stuff like that. There's people helping us out that way, but I'm just a single guy here, and I'm easy, so I've got a couple hotel nights, but yeah, it's fine. Some people live in these trucks, we live in that. This is one of the less comfortable ones, just because there's not as much room. There's a lot bigger bunks out there and stuff like that. It's all good. It's pretty easy if you've ever gone camping. This is a lot more comfortable than camping.
Yeah, I'd say glamping.
It's glamping, yeah.
Have you seen any of the protesters be violent or get arrested?
No, haven't seen anything bad on the cops' part either. Haven't seen the cops act poorly. I've seen some people like spit at my truck or whatever, walk by swearing. But it's not even hardly worth a mention when 50,000 people walk by your truck and 2 of them are pissed off at you. It's not really worth a mention. So no, everything I've seen has been fantastic.
Can you tell me what it's been like personally for you over the last 2 years of the lockdowns?
Actually, I haven't lost a paycheck. I haven't got fired. I haven't had any major incidents. Neither is anyone really close to me. And I'm not vaccinated. But mentally, it's been super hard. You know, I'm a pretty reasonable guy, and every time, you know, you go to bed, it's like, man, how could I be the one person who's wrong when 5 or 10 other people, even, you know, like people you respect, they totally disagree with you. Like how that, you know, it makes you wonder, how does that make sense, right? So I've held on to my beliefs. Every time I go through it, I come to the same conclusion. I've held on to my beliefs. But other than mentally, it hasn't taken away paychecks or, you know, traumatized me like it has for kids, or it hasn't been the worst for me. It's just been more mental than anything.
So when did you start to see some holes in the lockdown story?
Well, yeah, it seemed like fear-mongering from the start. Maybe that was an ignorant guess. I was kind of thinking it seemed like BS right from the beginning. Just had that feeling, I guess. But there was always this whole panic, but never around you. Never nobody that you knew. Like, yeah, you saw some people get sick, some people get quite sick, right? But no different than any other flu season, no different than any other sickness that runs through, right? And that's just kind of human life. You know, you do have the ability to get sick, and like there is an opportunity for you to get sick, very sick. So it didn't seem any different than anything. Like, even people that I knew in healthcare, it was business as usual for them. Absolutely no difference. Funeral home people that I knew, they had no change in anything. Like, if you just shut off the media and just paid attention around you, there was no pandemic for me at all. Not at all. I don't get it.
And we're going to shoot into the next question.
Sure.
So what do you think of the media and more specifically, Justin Trudeau's characterization of this peaceful event?
I don't think it really should surprise anybody. I don't think Justin Trudeau really has the power and whatever to do much. He's just a face and a name to me. Doesn't actually make any calls, if you ask me. Yeah, like, just if you can't open your mind and see the polar opposite views of like BLM versus us, just the absolute backwards perspective, then I really encourage you to take a second look at how things have gone down here. It's actually incredible that we've had 3 weeks of nothing but peace, love, and unity here.
Anybody up? Got a copy?
And there hasn't been like any major false flags. We've really been watching ourselves and protecting ourselves from all that stuff. I think this has been an incredible display of people keeping their cool and staying calm here. Incredible.
For those people who don't know watching at home, what is a false flag?
For example, when we first came here, there was a swastika flag. So if, and they've held on to that this whole time. If Trudeau or whatever wants to paint us with a bad brush, hey buddy, here's 20 grand. All you gotta do is whip a flag out for about 30 seconds, and you know, here's 20 grand cash, right? So they can pull that off and then call us white supremacists and use derogatory terms for the whole time and try to dismiss our message using that false flag. It's when you implant somebody to represent a group in the way that you want them to be represented.
What do you think of the protest, the Convoy 2020, kind of evolving or devolving into a dance party?
Well, it's anything, right? You get a big group of people together, especially people who are very happy, high-spirited people, and they're in this sort of a thing. Yeah, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. They're gonna have dance parties and whatever. It's no surprise.
So, do you think if you've been here for 3 weeks, haven't moved an inch, right?
No, I got here first. I was 4K out, and then the next morning I drove up, parked here, and hasn't moved.
Nice. How much do you think this spot would cost you to rent under normal circumstances?
I might have to find out the hard way.
So they haven't given you any tickets or anything like that?
Nothing at all. They've given some other guys around me tickets, but I don't know if you just don't happen to be in your truck at the right time or whatever. There's no strict set of rules or anything going on here. It's just kind of touch and go. Whatever happens. There's no solid anything. It's just, like I said, as happens as it goes.
We're going to wrap up that line of questioning. Do you want to talk anything else about COVID?
No, I just think people need to open their minds, like turn off the media. Just think about it. If you excluded the media, excluded what you heard, what your experience of COVID would have been then. And I think that the cure is much worse than the sickness, especially mental health. We're already in a bad state of mental health and a bad state of people being divided and distance. And that got tenfold. So, yeah, I just take another look at it. Morning. Hey, man.
I'm leaving.
You are?
I got enough.
Okay. Fair enough.
I gotta go to work. I got stuff to do.
Okay.
Got a new truck. I gotta make the payments.
Yes.
I'm done. You have a good one, my friend.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
See you, buddy.
Yeah, if you have time, when are you leaving?
Right now.
Okay, well, Godspeed, my friend. What's your friend?
Thank you.
What's your name?
Peter.
Well, good luck, Peter.
Yeah, I have 22 days there and don't do nothing. I think I did my part.
Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, appreciate it.
Great.
Once again,
Thank you.
take care of your wife.
Thank you. I will. Have a good one, my friend.
Yes, sir. They're scaring people, and people have reason to be scared. And to me, man, if you're gonna pull me out of my truck and arrest me for having nice conversations with all people of all walks of life and peacefully demonstrating here, that's a big mistake on their parts. You can't. I'm not a victim to it, and that would be them doing wrong onto me.
Yeehaw.
Yes, I
So, do you mind me asking you about your truck?
do. Sure.
So, any question you don't want to answer, you just let me know, eh?
No, it's fine.
So, what is a monthly payment on this sucker?
So it's about a $60,000 truck, and I think the payment's like $1,200 a month or something.
Okay, that's pretty hefty.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of monthly bills. Like the payment's one thing, then the insurance is quite high as well, right? And then repair bills are quite high as well. Fuel is quite high as well. There's lots of expense.
And how old are you, and where are you from in Canada?
24, Saskatchewan, kind of by Saskatchewan. Yeah.
Tell me, man.
Yeah, so it's a Peterbilt, and if you know trucks, they're kind of the fancier trucks. They every other truck will do the same job, but the Pete's are, I guess, just a fancier looking truck. It's supposed to be kind of more enjoyable, just like a Mercedes is going to do the same job as a Cavalier, but it's just kind of supposed to be more enjoyable to drive. And might hold its value a little bit better.
I'm very curious about these. What do these switches do?
So there's an engine brake here. So there's a mechanism that holds pressure in the engine when you, instead of having to use your brake pedal all the time where your brakes out, your engine can actually do the braking for you. So yeah, it holds pressure in the engine, essentially using a Jake brake, and slows your load down, slows your truck down.
Tell me about some other cool things about this bad boy.
Oh man, there's kind of lots. There's tons, right? We can go across if you want. So there's an engine fan override. So that's just on a thermostat to keep it at like, 190, 200 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
This is a positive air shutoff for the oil field, so if you're working around gaseous fumes and your engine starts running away, you flip that, it'll shut your motor off no matter what. Heated mirrors, they ice up on the highway. This is your signal, so it's like a thank you. It's kind of like your hazards. It's just an interrupter or a provider switch. Nothing crazy. I don't know what that one is. I don't know, it's not labeled. Flip it on the highway. Then there's an auxiliary heater in the back. So there's your window switches, door and sleeper unlocks. These are all light switches over there, wipers, etc. These lock your diff so you can get 3-wheel drive instead of 1-wheel drive. Air dump in the back to hook up the trailers. Reposition your 5th wheel so you can shift the weight on your truck, so you can steer better or redistribute it better. And then there's gauges of every kind, man. There's fuel filter, fuel pressure, diff temps, alternator, trans temps, everything you could ask for. If you're a good operator and you know your gauges, and they work, some of mine don't work, then you can predict problems before they turn into big problems.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot for the interview.
You're welcome.